Hello anybody, I am alpacapatrol, and this... Sorry, I said alpacapatrol improperly. There's not enough diction there. So let's try that again. Hello anybody, I am alpacapatrol, and this is Binding of Isaac Wrath of the Lamb. That's right, I'm back with another custom challenge run. This run is brought to you by Luanley1989, longtime challenge run giver. Not getter. Doesn't get anything from challenge runs. This is a complex run. This is a little bit complex. So the run is called Chestception. Obviously, as you can tell, we are already in the chest. Whoa, whoops-a-daisy, I don't have the screen selected. As you can tell, we're already in the chest. So basically, I have the nail, I have Dead Cat, I have Skeleton Key, and I have Guppy's tail. And I have infinite item power on the nail. Now, here's how this goes. Blue Baby has 9 lives, and I need to kill him 9 times. And I can use the nail as many times as he has lives left. So I could use the nail 9 times, which I will do right now. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 blue hearts. Okay, so I have the 9 blue hearts, which is good. And then, here's the other thing. If I don't take these 4 starting chest items, then, I'm allowed to, suck on a butt. No, I'm allowed to, take 1 item of my choosing, from the thingamabobber. But I guess I might as well decide after I see. Although, would that be against the rules? Probably against the rules. So let's take all this shit. Fuck it. We got Polyphemus and Mom's knife. No big deal. We'll just take that right on in there. So I have a sneaking suspicion that we're going to be good on Blue Baby. Now, of course, we don't have anything besides the fucking, well, I guess we have a range up with Mom's knife and the other thing. Hey, we got another item. Rainbow Baby. I like Rainbow Baby. So yeah, these are the only upgrades that we have, which I suppose could be bad, but not really, considering how much health that we have. But then again, we do have to be able to make it to Blue Baby. That's sort of the main, or the first goal. And I don't really know, well, I can't take that. Even if I could, I wouldn't want to. Oh, come on, he immediately does damage to me like a dingus. That's fine. Whoa, we're gonna take more damage. No, we're good, we're good, we're good. I thought we were gonna take even more damage because, hot damn, these bombs are gonna hit me. No, they're not. No, they're not. Oh, we're good. By the way, yesterday I uploaded like 6 videos. So if you need something to watch, fucking go back in time to yesterday. You don't have to go back in time to go to yesterday. You can just go to the channel. Luckily, YouTube saves things, over time. So, you know, you don't really have to go back in time in order to see things. Ah, dear Lord, okay. Alright, we beat Blue Baby once. I don't know how to... I guess we'll use the cheat that got me to this floor again? Let's go to floor 11. Let's do it. Oh, yeah, it worked. Alright, but the music is off, so hold on. Let me turn that back on. Interesting. Interesting. No, the music is not back on. In fact, there's no sound whatsoever. That's a little bit weird. I wish that there was a way that I could fix that. I don't think that there is. Unfortunately, this does appear to break the old, room of butts. Fuck it, yeah, we'll take that. We'll take the, Super Meat Boy Secret Vent. Oh, you know what, let's see. Let's see if maybe if I go to a different floor, let's say floor number 10. Okay, we got the read access violation, that happened last time. And I think SpiderMod crashed. And I think, yes, SpiderMod has indeed crashed. These complex challenge runs, man, when they make me re-roll everything, they're not looking good. They're not looking good. I think I would say stay away from the really complex challenge runs because they don't appear to work very well. So we're gonna go ahead and close the program. I'm sorry about that. Let me just go to the A butts. And we'll open up SpiderMod again and I guess set everything up once more. Here we go. Alright. Yes, I know that the overlay is on. Don't tell me, chat. I can hear you. I can hear you right now in my head. Alright, here we go. You're also telling me to burn things. evidently. Okay, so we gotta do the custom starting items. We gotta edit starting items. Oh god, we gotta do all this stuff. Alright, oh, hold on. You can't even see any of this, by the way. Which, obviously, you know that, considering you're not seeing anything. No, not Cat of Nine Tails! We want the next you know what, let's just go to Guppy's tail. Guppy's tail, there we go. What else do we have? Skeleton key. Skeleton key. The key de la skeleton. And, the nail. Which is right at her. Okay. And then we gotta do the, enable seed to random seed. There we go. We gotta go for the, cheat menu. Open the cheat window. Holy cow, we got infinite item power. Then we gotta start with Judas. And then we gotta jump to the floor. Alright, let's go to the floor 11. Alright. We didn't get a read access violation this time, so maybe that is a good thing? I don't know. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah. Alright. That's enough. Let's get some more upgrades. Whatever they may be. They're pretty bad. They're pretty bad. I don't like them very much. Well, we can't take that one, obviously. Alright, away we go! Fuck it. Alright, why did we have the Whore of Babylon momentarily? I wonder if this one will work. It seems like it might, because I didn't get the... Last time I got some, like, cheat things, or, like, not cheat things, but I got, some, you know, problems, obviously. Oh, we were the Whore of Babylon because of the nail, you dingus. God, you're so dumb, Rob. You're just like the dumbest man. At least we have sound back. That's pretty good. I feel pretty good about the sound being back. Sound being back, pretty important, I find. I think sound is really important in video games. You know, this is something that I know some people do this, where they'll turn off the sound in video games and then they'll just like listen to their own music. And I guess I could see that for like some games, but most games I'd say that you really gotta listen to the sound. It's part of the whole design, you know? Like, that's sort of what, part of the game. That's part of what, like, people have made. I don't know. It's just something that always kind of, like, peeved me. Can you say peeved me? Because you can say it's my pet peeve. But can you say it peeved me? Is peeve an action? To peeve or not to peeve? The famous, Shakespearean quote that everyone knows. Because Shakespeare, obviously, he thought it was a verb, considering he made that very famous quote. I mean, he knew it was going to be famous when he wrote it, obviously. By the way, Shakespeare, I feel like Shakespeare gets a bad rap, in that, like, people are like, oh, Shakespeare is hard to read and shitty and all this stuff. Shakespeare's not that hard to read, to be honest. Like once you learn how to read Shakespeare, he's super easy to read. And here's the thing, it's not really that dry either. A lot of people like consider like Shakespeare's boring and lame. Shakespeare's actually hilarious. Like most of Shakespeare is just like a collection of dick jokes. I'm not kidding. Seriously, like the whole beginning of Hamlet. Wait, is it Hamlet or Macbeth? I think it's Macbeth. Yeah. The whole beginning of Macbeth is this like drunk ass gate guard talking about whiskey dick to no one. Like, he's just hammered and he's just talking to himself about whiskey dick. Which, by the way, in case you don't know what whiskey dick is, it's when you can't get it up when you're really drunk. So yeah, I'm not kidding. Like that's the whole beginning of Macbeth. I think it's Macbeth. Maybe it's Hamlet. I think it's Macbeth though. Could be wrong. Whatever. Anyway. Also, there's this entire scene, this whole scene in Hamlet. This one I know for sure, where they're talking about Ophelia's vagina. Like, they're subtly talking about Ophelia's vagina, because it's the scene where they're talking about nothing, if you remember that. They say like, oh, what are we talking about? And she's like, oh, nothing. Nothing was slang for vagina at the time. So, by the way, I don't know what we do at this point, because we just died. Like, do we just keep going and try to beat Blue Baby with one heart? Because that shit ain't gonna happen. Okay, so get it. The catch is you never have more spirit hearts than the number of lives Blue Baby has left. So I died. So do we go back to the floor? Maybe that's what we do. Let's go back to floor 11 and see. Oh, shit. We got a access violation. Okay, well, we have sound this time, though. So that's good. Blue Baby still has 8 lives. So that's a thing. Good. We got literally nothing good. Nothing that we got was good. I mean, the D20's alright, but, like, in a very specific circumstance. Alright, well, we could use the nail bay time, so let's do that. There we go. Okay, anyway. Yeah, so she's talking about, like, they're talking about, like, no thing. They're saying, like, no thing repeatedly. And yeah, it's just the badge joke. Like, she's talking about her vagina. Which is, it's just, I find very funny. The Tempest is great, too. That one's a great play that people don't, really, know that often. I don't know. It's just, Shakespeare is one of those guys that I think gets a bad rap for being dry and boring. When, he's not. He's not. He's pretty funny. He's actually pretty funny. Maybe wrote a couple, couple things. Comedies at that time weren't necessarily what you would traditionally call a comedy. Like, I think technically A Merchant of Venice is a comedy, but there's really, like, nothing funny about A Merchant of Venice. And, like, the way that comedy was once defined, oh god, was whether or not people died. Basically, comedy is defined by whether or not people died, and nobody dies, it's comedy. And if they do, it's a tragedy. It kind of harkens back to, not harkens, but it goes back to the Commedia dell'arte. Oh god, in Italy. You know what's funny is a lot of theater. Oh dear lord. Began as liturgical drama, which was like church-based drama. So whatever what's it called, the naivete of Christ or whatever. What's the thing where he's in the manger and he's a baby and all that crazy weird stuff? I don't know. I know nothing about religion, evidently. Okay, so we have to go to the floor again because we died. Yeah, okay, we got the violation this time, and it is the one without the sound. We got the one without the sound, so that kind of sucks. You know what I wonder? Can we save this? No, we can't. That's unfortunate. Alright, well, we're gonna have to play without the sound. You're just gonna hear my stupid voice for a while. Alright, we got the PhD, and it crashed. Okay. Alright, we got another crash. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and say that this challenge run is just undoable. We're gonna stay away from this one. Sorry, hold on. We gotta get the size window back according to fitting plans. Okay, let's just say again. Let's just say this challenge run is undoable. Let's go have a regular Judas run though. The Judas Priest run. I'm just gonna sing Judas Priest throughout the video. I'm not gonna do that. So we're just gonna have a regular run. Anyway, what was I saying? A bunch of shit about a bunch of things, and I don't even know what I'm talking about anymore. Probably nonsense. I was probably speaking a bunch of nonsense if I had to guess. Sorry that the challenge run didn't really work. I don't know, man. I guess that's the thing. Sometimes that happens, man. Sometimes that happens. Oh, good! The hourglass! Well, we know that this run's gonna start off pretty well. I guess we might as well fight this boss. Fuck it. Why not? Alright, let's go this way. So I've been watching Heroes, and I got past the first season. People were talking, or told me, or one guy told me, and, thank you, that one guy whose name I forget now. But one guy told me that the reason that the writing suffers in the second season is because they were writing during the writer's strike, so they decided to just write without writers, or like write the show themselves instead of using actually like trained writers and paid writers. I have to say, like, before I watched the first episode before I knew that, and the writing is fucking awful in the second season. It is, like, abysmally bad. Literally, there's a character... Okay, there's... If you can even... I'm sorry, my hands are off the keyboard because this is so bad. If you can think of, like, the most cliched character that you could ever possibly think of, there's a guy... There's a guy in the second season named West. His name is West. Alright? I'm sorry to anybody whose name is actually West. That's a cool name. But I mean, like, you know, you're a walking cliche if you're on a TV show. Also, if your name's Chase, that would be another. Like, it's like one step away from naming a character like Shadow or something. Like, that's how close to lame it is, or how silly it is. And then he has this, like, really nonsensical discussion with one of the characters that's like, hey, are you an alien or a robot? Because, you know, like, aliens, they don't even care what people think, but robots, they just do what everybody else says. And then there's, like, this really stupid love thing happening in the... And it's just, it's like, it's the worst. It's so bad. It's so bad. But I'm willing to just, you know, I'm willing to just bear with it, just to see if it gets better. Also, I have nothing else to watch. I've, like, run out of Star Trek episodes. By the way, the original Star Trek series, a fucking awesome show. I would highly suggest that you watch it. That's another show that I think gets that kind of weird rap, similar to, like I was talking about, like Shakespeare, where, you know, you think, oh, original Star Trek, that's, like, really super nerdy. Like, you know, we're all nerds here, but, I mean, come on, that's a bit too far, I think. Now here's the thing, I could take the Whore of Babylon, as I like to refer to it, or I could take Guppy's dead cat. I'm gonna take the dead cat, and then I'm gonna go to this sacrifice room, and I'm gonna hope for Guppy. That's what I'm gonna hope for. And we didn't get it. We got a blue heart, though, so we got nothing, basically. I do want a key. Unfortunately, I don't have any. So that's unfortunate. Anyway, what was it? Star Trek. Yeah. So that show, I think, again, is another one of those shows that gets sort of like a bad image in that, like, it's considered to be super nerdy. Maybe that's just me though. Like maybe that's how I felt before I watched the show. Where it's like, I don't know if I want to watch Star Trek, man. That has some serious social stigma attached to it. But it's really good. Like it's really legitimately good. I want the Whore of Babylon. It would be so nice. I want a fucking key is what I want. Can I not have another run without keys? Please? Jesus. God, I am like the most unlucky man when it comes to keys. When it comes to anything, but I mean when it comes to keys especially. Anyway. So, yeah. Star Trek, the original Star Trek is really good. It has a lot of things, it does a lot of things that I think a lot of sci-fi shows have forgotten about. See, because here's the thing about sci-fi. This is the thing about sci-fi, and this is sort of the reason that I feel that sci-fi has kind of lost a lot of its goodness over time, in that a lot of sci-fi movies and stuff and TV shows, they don't really get it anymore. Because here's the thing about sci-fi. Science fiction is what I'm referring to, by the way. The thing about science fiction is, like, yeah, you revel in the future or like whatever, like weird, interesting concepts or something. Yeah, and like it's cool and all that stuff and fancy. But the most important thing about science fiction is that you're talking about something that's happening right now. You have a message, right? You want to talk about, I don't know, global warming or racial inequality or, you know, whatever. You want to talk about those things, and so you use this fiction in this weird imaginary place because you can talk about these taboos without fear of retribution because, again, you're in this weird, you know, fantasy world that doesn't exist, right? And you can talk about this through hyperbole and exaggeration. So, like, that's sort of what makes science fiction cool. But a lot of sci-fi today, they just don't do that. They don't talk about anything. Like, you know, I was watching Looper, that movie with fucking Bruce Willis and stupid face McGillicuddy, whatever his name is. I like him actually, Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Anyway, but it's with Joseph Gordon-Levitt, and like the movie, like it's kind of cool. The premise is there. It's interesting. But it doesn't mean anything. Like, there's no symbolism, there's no, like, topic or theme. It's just, I don't know, it's just a movie that happens to be science fiction. You know what I mean? And it just sort of, I don't know, falls flat. Now, a lot of people consider that film to be like the best science fiction movie that's come out in years in American cinema. And I can see where you're coming from, but only because American cinema doesn't do sci-fi well anymore. Now, that said, there are a lot of great sci-fi that doesn't really talk about something explicitly, right? And I think the thing that I'm referring to, or what maybe even the problem stems from, is probably like Star Wars, right? Because it's not really talking about anything, Star Wars, and it's probably the most famous science fiction film ever, and it's not really talking about anything per se. It's talking somewhat about fascism, but really that's just kind of an undertone. It's not necessarily something that is like, it's not something that's very vital to the plot. Like, yes, it says fascism is bad, but it's not really that interesting to the plot. Really, it's more of an adventure story than it is a science fiction. Honestly, sci-fi is, Star Wars is one of those shows, or one of those movies that just kinda happens to be science fiction, but it's not really. Why am I not using this? I should use this. I'm not gonna use the Empress. Anyway, it's one of those things that kinda just happens to be sci-fi, like it's almost a Western, it's almost an adventure. It's really more of an adventure movie than it is science fiction, because of those reasons that I've mentioned. So, I don't know, that's sort of the thing, that I think a lot of films get wrong, a lot of, just modern things get wrong in general. You know, I'm gonna use the Empress here. That's good. I'm glad that I didn't use that last time. Hopefully we don't die. That would be nice. That'd be nice. It probably will be difficult not to die, I will say. So I don't know. That's sort of my thoughts on all that. You know, there's a lot of things, and it's kind of always been this way. Let's be honest here. There's always been popcorn movies, and that's sort of what Star Wars is. It's sort of a popcorn movie, right? It's not supposed to talk about anything. And you know what? For the truth of the matter is, not everything has to talk about something, right? Like, you don't have to change the world with every piece of art that you make. Yeah, you know, that's something that I think I get lost in a lot, where, you know, sometimes I'll think, well, it doesn't really mean anything, and there's nothing really going on deep beneath the surface or anything here, so it's not good. But that's not necessarily the case, right? Because it's sort of the same way as video games, right? You don't have to change the world with every video game. Like, yes, The Binding of Isaac talks about a lot of things, and that's interesting, and that's good, right? And that's part of what makes it a good game. Now, I also think that Geometry Wars is a good game. It's fun, and honestly, it's not talking about anything. It's just a game. And in fact, it has no problems with immersion. Like, it's not trying to put you in some kind of world. It doesn't have any lore. It doesn't have anything substantive in the way of changing the way that your world works, right? It doesn't necessarily, and it hasn't redefined gaming. But does that make it not fun? No, it's great. It's a lot of fun. It's enjoyable. So you don't always have to make something that's, you know, symbolically important or thematically interesting to make good art or make something good. I think a lot of ways you could look at the stuff of like Andy Warhol, and I'm not an artist, and I'm not someone who's necessarily known. Or like who's necessarily well read on the art world, but I can kind of infer that Andy Warhol is perhaps not the most symbolically inclined, or not the most I don't know how to say this in a way that isn't insulting to Andy Warhol fans, but I mean, it's not necessarily, you know, it's sort of pop art, right? Like that's what he coined the term and the thing. It's pop art. It's graphically interesting, but it's not necessarily emotionally interesting. Well, I mean, emotionally, sort of, I don't know. It's hard to really define, but you know, it's not necessarily something. It's something to consume, not necessarily to think upon, right? Like, you're not gonna go into the deep strokes of the fucking picture of Marilyn Monroe's face 8 times on an image more than you would, say, like Starry Night. And again, like I said, I'm not a fucking artist or a painter or anyone who's even versed in painting theory, but I'm really using it to illustrate a point. I could be wrong about Andy Warhol, and in fact I probably am, but that doesn't matter. It's for the sake of the point, right? I could use other people as an example in like film, like Michael Bay, right? Like he's never gonna make anything that is substantive. He's never gonna make anything that's thematically interesting. He's never gonna make anything that's symbolically interesting. He's never gonna make anything like that. I'm sorry. Did I say James Cameron? I meant Michael Bay. James Cameron's interesting actually, but anyway, Michael Bay. Yeah, he's never gonna make anything like that, right? But he doesn't want to, and he doesn't have to, because one, his movies sell. And two, you don't really go to a Michael Bay film because you want those things, right? I mean, there's an audience for everything, and that's sort of what, that's sort of, oh dear lord. And that's sort of what, I think he says, right? Is that, hey, this is my audience, we're gonna curse and be really, really violent, or we're gonna be, fucking slapstick humor, and we're gonna be corny, and we're gonna be whatever, and you're gonna see explosions, and you're just gonna see fires, and you're gonna see gunfights, and it's gonna be awesome, and you're gonna have a good time. You're not gonna be maybe cathartically, there's not gonna be some sort of emotional catharsis that will change your world or revolutionize the way that film is portrayed, but it's gonna be fun. You're gonna have a good time, and that's fine enough. That's fair enough. That's okay. I'm okay with that sometimes. Not all the time, but you don't need that all the time. And in fact, sometimes it can be detrimental to have that all the time. When did we get the red patch that I'd completely ignored or missed? Whatever. So yeah, I don't know. That's my thoughts on the whole matter. What was I talking about initially? I was talking about like heroes, right? Yeah, that show has like really awful writing. It's real bad. I mean, even the first season was pretty bad though. Like it was pretty bad, but it's not as bad as the second season. The second season is awful, as far as writing is concerned, anyway. But yeah, like the first season was kind of bad because it was like I'm not gonna spoil it obviously, because just in case you haven't seen it or want to see it for whatever reason, if you're like me and you have nothing else to see, thank you for the keys. Yeah, but like throughout the first season, it's like characters whose driving goal, their main motivation, the thing that defines their character is their motivation to find something out or to do this one thing, and then this little innocuous thing may happen, and then all of a sudden that drive is completely gone, and they suddenly become a skeptic, and it just doesn't make any sense. It's like this happens repeatedly, and I'm talking about the one dude that you meet in the very first. Well, I'm not okay. Shit, I don't want to spoil it. I don't like spoiling anything. But yeah, it happens repeatedly where it's like these guys whose characters are driven by a certain thing or philosophy or whatever, what have you, are completely turned away for basically no reason. Like for something incredibly inconsequential. And it's infuriating. It's hard to talk about suspension of disbelief on a show that's about people with superpowers, but I'm gonna do it because, oh man, Guppy's paw or Guppy's head or Book Belial. I think we're gonna go with the Book Belial. Anyway, yeah. So yeah, like I understand the irony of talking about suspension of disbelief on a show about people with superpowers, but it is important. Even no matter what, it's important. Your suspension of disbelief is sort of. In case you didn't know, by the way, suspension of disbelief is basically a person's ability, a show's ability to command people's basically immersion. It's what we call in video games immersion, and it's the same thing in films, really, or creative media. I don't necessarily want to say films, because obviously Heroes is a TV show. But, anyway, yeah, so your ability, it's sort of the thing that is poked fun of in horror movies a lot, where it's like, oh, this is where that murderer killed 1 million people and no one ever found where he was. Should we stay in this house? Or, hey, should we split up now that this murderer's after us? And, like, everybody's just like, yeah, fuck it, why not? Whatever, we're kids, it's fine, it's cool. You know what, I'm just gonna do that. I'm just gonna go ahead and do that. That's one of those things where it's just like, alright, well, my suspension of disbelief is, literally completely gone. You have eliminated that from contention. I no longer find these characters believable. It kills things for you, and that's sort of part of what happens there. And you know, I think it is important to say, even in a show about people with superpowers, right? Because if you'll remember, I think this is something important that people forget, honestly, about The Dark Knight. And I hate to go back to Batman. I don't actually hate to go back to Batman, let's be honest here. But I will say, like, I talk about Batman a lot because I think he's a very interesting character. Anyway, so if you remember The Dark Knight, when that came out, people were realistically, I'm not fucking kidding, considering that movie for best film, for the Oscar, right? Best film made that year, right? I think it actually might have even. I don't think it won. I think the movie about the Hurt Locker won that year, I think. But anyway, yeah, it was legitimately being considered. Now let's consider this for a moment. In that movie, there is a scene where a man dressed up as a clown is being interrogated by a man dressed up as a bat and talking in a raspy voice. That happens in that movie, and that was considered for best film. You know why? Because Christopher Nolan did an excellent job of creating immersion, creating a suspension of disbelief. You think that when you watch The Dark Knight, you realistically think, you know what? Under the right circumstances, and the circumstances presented in this film, maybe Batman could exist. Maybe that's possible. And that's hard to do when you have, again, a man in a bat suit, or a man in clown makeup, being scary. But you can do it. And it's something that's really important, I think, especially when you're doing something fantastical like Batman, or doing something fantastical like Heroes. And of course, when I say fantastical, I mean in and of fantasy, which is something that I think people stopped using that word for, and started using it for like different things, which is a little bit weird. So like when you say something is fantastic, what you're actually saying is that it's a fantasy, right? It's in fantasy. So you would say that The Lord of the Rings is fantastic as a descriptor, not as saying that it's good, which is how we use it now, right? How we use it today, or really colloquially, is that we're saying like, oh, that's fantastic. It's very good. But it's not necessarily the case. I mean, it's a lot of the way, it's sort of this hyperbole that we use in society in general, right? Where we use the word awesome a lot. I use the word awesome a lot, but that really is supposed to mean it inspires awe, right? Like your mouth agape, it inspires awe. You were awed by this thing, and that's not necessarily the case, because you could just say something's awesome, and you know you're not necessarily meaning particularly that. Even great, we kind of overuse as well. So we overuse a lot of things. Fuck, I'm taking so much damage. Oh, no, troll bomb, don't kill me. I'm gonna die. Alright, we're good. Whoo, baby. Sexy mama, that was close. That was a close one. Why we can't find, like, the one treasure room? We gotta find a treasure room. We can't find it. There are two. There are two on this floor. I'm gonna have to use a fucking key so I survive. Anyway, sorry, hold on one second. There's a goddamn thing in my mouth. Oh, I went the wrong way. Okay, whoops-a-daisy, can't use this thing in my mouth. I had a little piece of boobs in my mouth. Sorry, I was consuming the flesh of a breast, and, it led to, you know, catching some meat in my teeth. Sometimes it happens, man. Sometimes it happens. So yeah, I don't know. It's kind of all those things. It's the kind of thing that you know, strive for as a filmmaker or a creative person, I think, when you're making art, is to be able to achieve all those goals. But then a lot of people don't, and it's a little bit saddening sometimes. It's a little bit saddening when things have great potential, too, and they don't really live up to it. And I think, again, I haven't seen the whole show, so I don't know. But Heroes might be one of those where it's like, man, this has such good potential for something really cool, and it feels a bit squandered. It's close. It's real close. You know, but it is a bit squandered. You know what heroes would be the writing quality is of? And again, this is not to be taken as offensive, because I don't really mean it in that way. But it would make for a very good comic. I think the writing quality would be excellent for a comic book. However, as a television show, it's a little bit harder to suspend my disbelief because I'm seeing real people do things. You know, it's sort of like you know, Harrison Ford in Star Trek. I mean, not Star Trek, in Star Wars, and also in Raiders of the Lost Ark. For fuck's sake, how many fucking nights are we gonna get? This is like the worst thing. Oh god, we're gonna like die in this room. Oh dear lord. Oh dear lord. Oh dear lord. All right, we're good. We're good. Anyway, so yeah, it's like Star Wars. Harrison Ford famously like argued with George Lucas over like the really poorly written lines in both of those films. And let's be honest here, there are some really bad lines in both. Can you shoot them from the front? Like, I know you can with a knife, but it seemed like I could with my regular bullets as well. Interesting. Anyway, so yeah, the writing in those films are pretty bad. So, a lot of the time. But again, they serve a purpose, right? And again, you know, sometimes that's enough. And if you do it in the right way, then it's fine. Like if it's tongue-in-cheek kind of humor, or if it's sort of, you know, made to be purposely corny. But I think the problem with Heroes is that it's sort of very heavy-handed, right? It's attempting to be extremely dramatic, and it doesn't really pull it off very well. It's attempting to be dramatic, and it's just not that good at it. Hold on, I'm gonna try to hurt this guy from the front. Yeah, there's no way. Whatever. So yeah, I don't know. It's just one of those things, I guess. Oh, good, the Anarchist Cookbook. That'll be fucking useful. Alright. It's one of those runs, friends. One of those runs. Alright, I guess I'm gonna use this. I know that we have Mom's Heart next, but I'd rather deal with Loki here. Because Mom's Heart mostly is just like repetition, whereas this is a little bit more random chance sometimes, whether or not you get hit. And I don't like that. I'd rather, you know, increase my odds of favor with the use of the Book of Belial. I only took one hit there, so that's pretty good. I'm okay with that. We got a health up, too, which is great. We got a health down. You know, I didn't even mention the health down pill when that happened, because I was in the middle of talking about something I don't even know what. Hopefully interesting. Hopefully none of this was, like, incredibly boring. But, I don't know. I find all that kind of stuff interesting. And it's sort of the reason I went to film school. But it's also sort of the reason that I would tell people not to go to film school. Like, if you can understand these things, this is not something that I learned in film school, by the way. It's something that I just knew from... Okay, Quentin Tarantino famously said, when asked, he said, when people ask me, did I go to film school, I say no, I went to films. And that's sort of the truth, right? These are all things that you kind of learn from just watching films, right? That's the sort of, you understand what's good because you watch good movies, and you know what good movies do. And because of that, you can kind of get an idea of what makes a movie good, and how to really emulate that just comes with technical knowledge, and practice, and, you know, ability, really, and skill. So, really, the one thing that I can say about film schools is, you know, they'll give you technical knowledge, which is important if you were not able to get it previously, which I wasn't. And then they're also good because they will give you, oh fuck. Oh shit. They will give you access to equipment that perhaps you would not be able to access otherwise. And that's also good, because again, that was my scenario. So, you know, I guess in that... Oh, are you fucking kidding me? Oh, we have the dead cat, I forgot. God damn it. Oh, come on, we gotta fight her again? You're making jokes. That is the stupidest shit ever. I can't believe that that really happened. I cannot believe that that actually happened, where I died because of the stupid... I can't believe that. Because of the stupid fucking exploding foot glitch. That is so dumb. Oh, God. I wish they had fixed that before they decided to stop updating this game. Because that one is real bad. This is gonna be real tough to do with one heart, I gotta say. And considering the upgrades that we have, which are kind of non-existent since I missed an entire treasure room because I had a fucking... Oh, God. No keys. I also had a health down pill. Whatever. You know what? So, are you surprised anymore that my luck is bad in the Binding of Isaac? Because really, you shouldn't be. I'm not, really. But that's sort of the way things flow, isn't it? You know what's coming out soon that I'm really excited for is XCOM Enemy Within, the new expansion for XCOM. I'm kind of really pumped for that. It looks pretty good. It looks pretty darn good. There's also this other game that is coming out that looks pretty cool. A number of games actually are coming out that look pretty cool, and there's a lot of these semi 4X type games, which I love, which is great. And then there's a lot of these Heroes of Might and Magic type things that I don't really understand what that's about, because I never played that. I watched Dennis play it, and it looked really fucking boring to me. Heroes of Might and Magic. But I know that there's an audience for it, obviously, and I know that, that there are people who fucking love it. And I understand it, but I don't like it particularly. That said, I am pretty excited for that one game that's coming out that's, what is it called? Like, the Magic, Age of Wonders. Age of Wonders 3, that's coming out. That's being, published by Mojang, I believe? That actually looks really cool. Because it's a 4X game plus the Heroes of Might and Magic thing, which I think Heroes of Might and Magic already is, sort of. But I think, like, in Heroes of Might and Magic, like, you take over castles and shit. Like, everything's already there. Whereas I think in this game, you have, you know, a big old dick in your mouth. You don't have a big old dick in your mouth. You have, like, like, you're building things. It's like Civilization. It's on a hexagonal map, and you're building, you know, cities and shit like that, and building a boneyard so that you can make the bone people, and get boners with them. You know, it's a fun time. It just sounds like a great boner game. Really, the boner game genre, untapped market, to be honest with you, especially on the console. Man, they do not make enough boner games on the console. I don't know what I'm talking about. Let's get this pill. Let's see what it is. Bad gas. Alright. Well, that was a waste of time. That was a sheer and I was looking at the goddamn window of the thing, and then it's my own fault. I'm dead. I'm dead. Alright. I'm gonna go fight that room again. That's fine. Whatever. Don't really lose much. Let's be honest here. We're sort of waiting for the end. I don't think that there's much that we can do to win here at this point. We're not looking good. We're not looking good. You know, yeah. Let's just say it like it is. Let's just tell it like, let's be honest with ourselves, friends. This run is coming to an end very soon. Once our 3 lives are up, with it, fuck me. Alright. So that could still be the way. So let's just dodge, motherfucker. Alright, hold on. We're on our last life. For fuck's sake. Okay, nope. Yeah, we're dead. Alright, well, fuck those things. Why are we alive? Oh, I pressed space. Whoops-a-daisy. Well, that unfortunately is going to be the end of the video. Because I accidentally pressed space there. But we tried our best. We tried to do the challenge run. That didn't work out. We tried to do a regular run, and obviously that didn't work out. We got some shitty items. We were almost at Guppy, though. We were 1 item away, so that's cool. Man. My voice is kind of hurting me. lately. I feel like I need to drink more tea with honey. You know, I had a thing that I want to talk about honey, how it's kind of like bee jizz. I talked about that on Josh's stream yesterday, and then I also talked about it on Twitter. But seriously, honey is basically like bumblebee semen, right? Like that's pretty much what we're getting there. Apparently, though, someone said that it's like bumblebee vomit, because apparently they puke it, which is even weirder. Well, actually, probably not even weirder. I mean, if it came out of bumblebee dicks, that would be weirder. Do bumblebees have dicks? I legitimately don't know. I've seen those things, the love bugs. You know what I'm talking about? The love bugs, they're basically flies. But in the springtime, they like bang while flying. It's crazy. In case you've never seen them or heard of them, you'll just see in the springtime, at least in New York City, sometimes, and depending on where you are, I don't know if they come out once every 14 years like cicadas or something. But anyway, so you'll see them, and there's these two little flies flying around, and then they're attached by this little white, I don't know, probably fly dick. Probably. Let's be honest, it's probably a fly dick. I don't know. They're attached and they're flying around, and they're just doing it. They're just doing it in public while flying. So it's kind of like you know, Clark Kent and Lois Lane, because they had to do that, right? I mean, like Clark Kent, like Superman had to bang Lois in the sky, right? If he started banging Lois, he's got to bang her in the sky because he's Superman, right? You gotta try that at least once, you know? Like it's gotta happen. It's like Mary Jane kissing Peter Parker when he's upside down. You know, you gotta do it once, at least. So. Anyway, I guess that's the end of the video. We talk about a bunch of things. Hopefully interesting things, you know, hopefully not boring things, but I'm always kind of self-conscious about that. I don't know if it was really particularly boring. I know a lot of people like that kind of stuff, I think. Anyway, I wasn't talking about anything particularly scientific, but I was talking about more things in film and stuff like that. I don't know if people find that interesting. I find it very interesting. In a similar way that I find a lot of things in science interesting as well. Because there is a bit of a science to making good art. A bit. Of course, there's need for breaking out of the pattern. But, you know, a lot of ways, the best, like, drama, like a play, is so old. I mean, if you read Poetics by Aristotle, he basically lays out the framework for what makes something good. And you can break some rules here and there, but you can't break all of them, because if you do, you make something really art house and honestly kind of boring and niche. And, which has its place, but it's never going to go down as great. So, I don't know. It's sort of the thing. If you ever have the time, I would suggest that you give Poetics a read. It's very interesting, and Aristotle lays out some really interesting things. He also lays out every possible story structure that exists, and he did that like thousands of years ago. Thousands of years ago, we have the ABCs of writing good dramas, or writing good. I don't know. I don't know what to define them if I don't call them dramas. Dramas or comedies. Dramedies. Drama-lamedies. Llama comedies. Comedies involving llamas. Those are pretty good. I won't lie. Anyway, yeah, that's gonna be the end of the video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Post your custom challenge runs down below, and I'll do the most upvoted one. This was, indeed, the most upvoted one. Try not to make it too terribly complex within the SpiderMod, because obviously it has some problems with crashing. Which, again, I don't think is the fault of SpiderMod. I think it's the fault of the Binding of Isaac. As I mentioned with Nicky last time, it is kind of poorly coded. So yeah, it's, you know, don't blame SpiderMod. SpiderMod's not at fault here. It is indeed Isaac. There's one thing that I wanted to check, actually. Can I do the large... Whoa! Shouldn't have done that! Whoa. Alright, well, good thing that happened at the end of the video, not the, like, in the middle. So yeah. That's gonna be the end of the video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Post your custom challenge runs down below. I'll do the most upvoted one. this was the most upvoted one by LowHanley1989, longtime challenge run giver. I'm excited to see your challenge runs. Hopefully they're good, and hopefully you enjoyed this video. And, anyway, from me to you, I love you all. And this is Alpaca Patrol signing out. Peace, fools!